What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Al in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Brian. Dan is in the house. Good morning to Daniel, Doug, Dragon. Good morning to Jeff, Joe, Keith, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian, Martina, Michael. Good morning to Mike, Nicholas. Good morning to you. Good morning to Peter. Prit B. Good morning to you. Good morning to Ray, Rick, Rob, Sarah, Tim, Virginia in the house. All my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to Royale, we got Daniel in the house. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. I'm just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But warning sign again. We've seen this already. We've seen this. We've kind of been feeling it the last couple days where trading is getting a little difficult because everything is still leaning in the bullish camp. The bulls just are running out of steam. Somebody said it best yesterday. They said exhaustion. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing a little bit of exhaustion rolling in. I'm seeing a lot of people. I know Jeremy's 98% cash. I've been selling some positions. I've been also doing some covered calls, getting called away at some levels, adding some that I'm not getting called away yet. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. I actually got some puts yesterday on the SPY. It took September, I forget what it was, September 9th or 10th, 11th, whatever, mid-September-ish, just in case. I don't know. Maybe, maybe we're a little overextended. Is the screen showing correctly, right? Because the Zoom is just putting in a weird spot on the chart. Looks like it is showing correctly. Yeah. All right. So we're good with that. But we'll see what happens. Notably, I mean, we're still in this uptrend, right? We haven't really broke down this one yet. We're still well above all the moving averages, so still looking healthy in the markets. But did we top? I don't know. We'll see what happens later today. We'll see what Jerome Powell wants to say. Three bar reversal for sure. So we opened here, we closed right around here, small little price action down here, and then most of it up here. So 3 day reversal. That's why I took the calls out yesterday, kind of the puts out yesterday as the market was kind of coming down. As we started to break through this level over here, started to get underneath these candles, which we talked about that being support. Again, gap up. We were expecting a retest gap. We'll see what happens. Um, but if this three bar reversal, so essentially inverted hammer, if we start to break out of there, I'll happily take the L, sell out real quick, and lose very little till we get an additional potential setup. We still have a bunch of companies reporting earnings. Again, we have Jerome Powell talking today, may or may not be reducing rates, most likely in the camp of not reducing it. And then we have the aftermath of whatever Trump says to follow that up and all that great stuff. So for right now, we're opening okay. We're hanging in there, and then the one chart we'll go to after this is Bitcoin too. But we got 635.28. Let's see if we can hold that one. Otherwise, we're still opening, even though it's a gap and go. Lower end of yesterday's range. We are above support, which is at least some positivity for the bulls. Resistance, I can see us getting back to the 637.10 today. So watch that range on here, and then if we start breaking under 635.28, we have a little bit more room to go, which takes us to 633. If we break that, we got 631.22. If we break that, we got to retest into like 628.98. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see which way. But the other thing we could do, and we've been watching BTC USD. I usually go to Qs first, but we'll switch it over. Um, Really good breakout. Somebody in the chat yesterday said, I don't know if Bitcoin is following the SPY or SPY is following Bitcoin, but that could be a very true statement. So you have your same very similar thing, slight pullback, we kind of ran it up. We have not done anything in Bitcoin land for the last 3 weeks. We're actually doing a lot in Bitcoin. We just don't feel like anything's happening. But this is still very bullish. The fact that we're just hanging out here, we're just now allowing all these moving averages to slowly catch up, give us some support because we were pretty far extended from it. So we already have the 20 EMA essentially in that zone already. So just because the SPY might not be pushing higher or struggling to push higher, Doesn't mean we have to get that. I see a lot of people calling for like a 5% pullback, 10% pullback. Maybe it happens. It doesn't have to. We could very easily also just hang out sideways, chop around for a little bit, and then this eventually, once some of those moving averages catch up, we end up pushing higher. So maybe not the end of the road for the markets. Maybe this is not the top. Maybe we do just break out and just rush higher. Who knows? But I think we're starting to get into noticeably, we're getting into a zone on the SPY where we have realistically, we are pretty far extended. We got the 20 EMA pretty far down. That's 620, 667. Our 50 EMA is all the way down to 610.92. We get the 100 just under $600 still. So these moving averages have to catch up. We've run a little bit too far. We've actually had a downgrade on AMD, but chips are still looking fairly strong out of everything. They've been decent so far, but again, those have also run like crazy. So maybe we don't get that crazy pullback. Maybe we don't get a 5% dip, 10% dip. Maybe we just hang out here. But what I could tell us for right now is anytime we are trying to push higher, it is getting harder and harder for the bulls to really get that momentum. So I think we do have some tired bulls on our hands. They're still in the markets. They're not letting go, but they're still just not as strong as maybe they were looking at July 16th, maybe even and even here, good run up. We sat here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row, almost 2 weeks before we got that next push. Maybe we're just setting that up and then we go again. We'll see. GDP came out today and it was a beat. I think it came in roughly about 3%. They're expecting 2.5%. So solid GDP growth. All the numbers are still looking good. Again, not for the purpose of saying Jerome Powell should, under what Jerome Powell looks for, does not seem like. Ray says I'm exhausted. Uh, it's not fitting the criteria as to why Jerome Powell, based on what he's been telling us, wants to come out and just lower the rates. So we'll see. But economy wise, it's still strong. Everything is still looking fairly good. I think even from tariffs, I think we collected like 28 billion in tariffs in June. So pretty high number historically for the revenue that we've had coming in. And again, that the other big problem is we still have the U.S. debt. Tariffs do not go into U.S. debt. They actually just go into the general federal funds, which then supports the military and supports the. Some of it goes to Social Security, some of it goes to Medicare, but um, it doesn't really actually pay down U.S. debt. So that's still a looming issue. We still have the Treasury bill. We're still spending, I think, about $1 trillion a year more than we're actually receiving. So GDP is one way to kind of bring down debt. If we could grow that a little bit more, we really have to get like a whole bunch of years around like 4%, 5% GDP growth. I don't know if we get there, but definitely the 3% is a good start. You got the Qs again, a little bit of a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. Bulls again trying to hang in there. We'll see how this one opens, but we are opening gap and go. Same thing, lower end of yesterday. We are above yesterday's VPOC, so look for some kind of support around 567.67. If we start breaking that through, we got the next level for today at least, 566.20. And we're opening right into a support resistance from Monday, 568. We'll see if we could crawl above that. If we could, maybe we want to retest a little bit higher, but we're opening right into that resistance. I'm looking at chop. We'll see. And again, you got big news coming out today with Jerome Powell. However, if he wants to start skipping and dancing out there very dovishly, I don't think he lowers rates. But if he starts going pretty dovish on, hey, we're looking at September, it's pretty much we're going to get a rate cut in September. Market's going to love it, and maybe we make that next step, and we'll see if we could actually hold any bullish rallies from that point. But tight range on Qs. We'll see where this one wants to open. We'll see where it wants to go. We'll put up Bitcoin one more time, BTC, USD, and still right back in that range. We cannot get closing below 117,225. But on the other side of the coin, having really big trouble outside of this 119,220. Really, this 120 is the zone that we're looking for Bitcoin land. So still a little bit chop fest in Bitcoin as well. I saw Yeah, Royale says SoFi and Bull, please, and then says looking to play short on both of those positions. Let's see. Start with SoFi. Um, Really good earnings. Again, we talked about this before. They came in almost 35% beat on earnings per share. They came in with an extra, what is that, 52, 53 million on the revenue side. So really solid earnings. They did an offering share last night, and that let's break this apart actually. Forget about uh the extra shares. Forget about the dilution. This candle alone is telling me we got some tired bulls. Still closed okay, but phenomenal earnings, phenomenal gap. We are at close to all-time highs, not quite there, but close to it. And the Bulls just kind of gave that entire move back. Not all of it from the gap, but decent portion of it. Still close, kind of healthy, and then they come in with the 1-2 punch, and now we're not opening in great spots. I don't know if you're talking Royale for shorting as a swing or um, shorting for a day trade. Day trade wise, yeah, if we could get a little bit of buying ahead of time, so if we could get Bulls just stepping in, going, SoFi is not $24 anymore. Maybe I could get it at $20 and 93 cents. And you see those Bulls start piling in. Look for some kind of resistance around this $20 and 93 cents, but essentially that offering does put out a dilution for them as well. So there is now more shares of SoFi. We'll see if the Bulls just gobble this thing up, or we do get a little bit more significant of a pullback. But $20.93. Watch that for a little bit of resistance. Your target to the downside for today, right flat into that $20 mark, which would be an interesting, also psychological level. We've been there before, so I think longer term, maybe we could break down. You could be looking at levels close to $19.03 and a strong one somewhere around $18.60. Good company, phenomenal earnings. I think looking to buy dips on this company. So again, if you want to go short, probably playing against the fundamentals at this point, but it has gone pretty far. You're below some very key levels. So on a trade basis, on a technical basis, short is seemingly the correct direction for right now on SoFi, but you're going against the very good technicals. You want to go short on Bull. Let's talk about Bull. I don't know if this is the range I would go short on Bull. Full disclosure, I still have shares. I just got out of my cover calls yesterday, so would love to see a pop. So maybe I'm gonna be a little biased on this one. Um, SoFi, I think has some room to the downside. It's had put in a good move. Bull also, when they did report earnings last quarter, I don't know if we can see it here. No, they're not showing it, but the Bull earnings were not bad. They were pretty good as well. So decent earnings after those. I was playing it because of the technicals. Because I was like, man, this thing got beat up. It's good consolidation. It's very squeezy. Um, Both of them have the ability to squeeze you out of a position if you're in there short, so be careful. But we talked about these levels yesterday, where we said if we break down $15.17, I can see a level of 14.26, and then if we break that, maybe we see a level into this 13.64. We essentially got into this one. Bulls are trying to move this one higher. Maybe if this thing could break 13.59, I think you'll have a good short into $12.63. However, now that is a retest. We've been showing that we've been making higher highs, higher lows. So until that changes, I don't think I would be in the short camp on Bull. Not at this price. If you want to short this one, I'd be looking for like 16.95. See if we get somewhere close to that zone. Come back for that retest, and then at least you have good risk reward on the short. Otherwise, shorting up here would be a lot better than looking to short down here on Bull. So SoFi, I could see Bull. I probably wouldn't take that short yet. Personally, I would see if and unless you start breaking some levels, that's about a dollar move almost on a $13 stock, so not bad on Bull to the continued downside. You're also approaching your 200 EMA as well, but we will see. Let's see. We got a couple of the names that came in. Marvell, MRVL. I think they're moving on old news. I think we had news come out, but we've had it for like 2 weeks. Yeah, collaboration with South Korean AI semiconductor company Rebellions to develop custom AI infrastructure. They've been talking about that for a while. I'm not sure why that's news. We've already had that. Nonetheless, it's kind of recirculating. Maybe it's more of a concrete deal at this point. Maybe that's what the market's reacting to. But yeah, good jump up on Marvell for today. It's up there. Watch for 84.76, and if that breaks the next target that we might even get to today, could take us into this 88.75 level. So we still have some room on this one. Again, it is kind of high. I'd like to see some kind of pullback. If the bulls are tired everywhere, then maybe this doesn't hold and we see more significant sell-off today and then tomorrow this thing could rally. I think this one's a little bit different than some of the other names, though. This one's still well off the highs. I think Marvell's a good company, but good gap up. You're already gaining about $7 on this move, which is pretty big for Marvell, but could go higher from here. I would like to see if I was to get into a trade, maybe a tad bit of a pullback first. We'll put this one higher on the list. See how this one wants to react. Visa. Visa had earnings, which were good. Came in with an extra. I can't see this thing because of the Zoom screen share, but I think that looks like 324 million. I have to check it from the YouTube page. Yeah, 324 million on revenue side, and then an extra 13 cents earnings per share, so that equates to 4.68%. Fairly good earnings. You're getting a gap down again. Stock is kind of up there already. There's been some worries in the credit card industry with the whole crypto thing, and we'll see how it plays out. But looks like we have some people ringing the register on the earnings as opposed to insanely buying a dip. Again, just kind of tired bulls, sleeping. Other than that, not a great location. You do have support. Your first support is 345.60. I would look to see if we get down to like 344.78 today. See what happens on that one. If we start breaking that, you have a lot of room to the downside, which takes us to about 340.08. I'm going to probably need this one to be bought up. I don't know if we do or not, but 347.37 as close as possible to that would be an interesting spot. We probably do get bought up a little bit. I don't think we're coming into yesterday's VPOC, which is 354.54. I don't think Visa gets into this 351.13 today. It's a pretty devastating gap if we do open up here. So the closest I can get to like 347.48 is probably a spot to establish some kind of a short position. That's where I think some of those trap bulls might be looking to get out as well. Etsy. Etsy, good looking gap off of not terrific earnings. Maybe guidance was good. But you got about a $25 million extra beat on the revenue side. The earnings per share was a horrible miss, 48%. And I guess the bulls have rotated into two stocks that miss. That's a pretty okay gap. Looks good. I see one little resistance somewhere around the 65-80 zone. We've been here before. Maybe we could break this out this time. If we could break through that, I don't really have too much. There's a couple other volume areas, but I'd be looking for like a 72.86 target for Etsy, and I don't know if that happens today. But it is a gap and go from yesterday. It is just based off of really not impressive earnings. You are taking out this double top. Let's see if we get, as opposed to just this run up, since there is some resistance, let's see if we get a pull back into that double top. That would take us to about 64.13, and we'll see if we could kind of buy it up from there to get to that next move. But it's got some room in it. It's going to have a little bit of chop ahead of it. A bunch of levels coming in somewhere around the 67.81. So let's see if this one does want to pull back a little bit before it starts to go. But decent move on the technicals. Not terrific looking earnings. Again, I'm not sure if there's I don't know what their guidance was, but my guess would be something to do with the guidance on that one. Put that one higher as well. Pan W buying a company. I think they're buying. I forget which company it was, but they're buying it for $45 to acquire CyberArk, the identity security leader. They're taking out the leaders. Incredible. Um, Longer term, probably good for Pan W. Short term, market can't. We're in a microwave generation. Market doesn't want to wait for anything. So, $45 a share to buy this company. That's going to come off of their balance sheets. That's going to report not so great numbers, although based on where we're at, we're going to report earnings on August 25th. I'm not sure if this deal is going to be even actually closed by then or when that money actually comes off their balance sheet. So their earnings still might be okay, or as it was before, might not change this quarter, but probably going to change the next quarter in the worst case. Other than that, like I said, if it's a good quality company they're buying, if the purchase is right, if it increases their value, it's a good purchase long term. Market doesn't want to wait. On this one, I don't know if I'm ready to go. Yeah, maybe. Depends on where this one opens. It is down a lot. You have 181.85 should be your support. We're already kind of below it. Next little support on this one, 179.48. This is going to be a tricky one. I think I'm probably staying away from this one. You don't really have too much room unless we're pretty much saying we're definitely breaking those 179.19. That puts a little bit more room on the table to like 175.94. Other than that, you also have a retest gap. I think if this I think I would like this one to drop a little bit and actually go bullish on it. Uh, and again, I don't know how far we're going to make it to the bullish end of things. We got 181.85 is our first stop. And then you have a really strong resistance at 184.51. That's going to match up with that 200 plus a VPOC from over here. So maybe like 184.80. Closest we can get to that. So for me, I'll probably stay away from this one unless it does something really, really crazy. And then I'm like, okay, like no brainer. But for right now, it seems like a little chop. Longer term, the more this dips, the deal probably ends up benefiting shareholders in the long run. So it's maybe something to look at on a longer term basis. Otherwise, let the chop happen. Maybe we get some high wave candle for today or something like that too. You got Mara. They reported earnings. Nice surprise, incredible surprise beat. Up 2,700% earnings per share. You might want to screenshot that. You don't see that often. 2743% earnings per share, incredible. And then it looks like a 10,000 or 10,000, $10 million beat on the revenue side. So revenue's okay. However, the earnings per share is wild. It did have a pretty fantastic run up yesterday. My question is again, are these bulls tired? Crypto has not moved. It looks like it was kind of breaking down. If you bought it off that 200 EMA, you're sitting there with some gains on the table. Maybe you want to try to get out of a lot of positions. Maybe you don't want to hold things. If Bitcoin starts breaking again, you'll probably see a good run. This is a healthy pullback. So not only is that 200 there, just eyeballing this, I'd say it's at least a 50% retracement from the last move that we put in on June 23rd and just rode it all the way up to July 18th. So that was a good breakout. You have a good double bottom. Very interesting spot to buy Mara. Opening price, not loving where we're sitting. First resistance on this one, I got about $17.07. The next one I'm looking at somewhere around $17.15. So a little choppy at open, but if you get above 17.15, there's really not much holding you back to about 17.45. Maybe get into the $17.50 zone, but earnings per share is fabulous. Earnings decent compared to that last one. Last one we missed by 200%. The earnings per share is they can't predict where this company's coming in, and then they also lost on revenue too. So a little bit of a decent swing on Mara. Bitcoin is at crazy prices. That's going to help. So we'll see where we go from here. I don't really want to short this one. I'd rather go long on Mara. That is an interesting on a daily, interesting pullback spot. Just be careful of where this thing opens. Maybe if there's a pre-market breakout, you could probably look to that, or some kind of high wave candle would be an interesting one to on Mara. So we'll keep that high on the list. We got Shopify. Shopify, not the best location for open yet. This one I could actually see almost just visualizing a high wave candle. Um, or it opens and dumps. One of those two, I think. I would say if we could stay above, and we're slightly below it at this point, we got 124.27. If we could open above that, maybe it's 124.24-ish, essentially right where we're at. We're still slightly below that too. If we open a little bit higher, I would look for, I think we come into this 124.46 at some point. So maybe we get some buying out of the gate, bulls get rejected, and then I think that's a decent short look to me. You got plenty of room. You got a lot more room to the downside than you do to the higher side. Maybe. Yep, I think so. You got room to 122, essentially 122, 121.95. So you got about $3 to the downside on this one. You also have we're underneath the VPOC from this decent breakout candle, lots of volume. I'd rather be more short than long on shop for now. Their earnings are coming out soon. You got a little bit of time. You got August 6th, so what is that? Another week and a couple days. Maybe we stay within this range until earnings, but this is your breakout. That was a nice retest spot. Bulls, tired bulls, could not get another new higher high, so they struggled. We came in for the retest. I think I'd rather be more short than long on shop at this point. Until you start really breaking out and get some closes above 126.63, and then really what would set it off is you get above 128.25. But I think the short side of things and then coming back into retest that hammer somewhere around 122 makes sense. Maybe we hit that today. Let's put that one a little bit higher on the list as well. SPY getting a little green candle on the 15-minute chart for right now. Pan W, we did take a look at. Hood, we did not. Um, Hood, we got very similar look to, again, you got retailers love it. They could have got it a lot cheaper about 2 months ago by like, well, from here, 50% cheaper. Uh, I think I like shop over hood. Again, this one's kind of opening into, unless you get some bounce, which we might. So inside day candle, we are opening into a little bit of support. I think this one gets bought up first. We probably push to like this 105.15 zone. We'll have to see what happens from there. That's where I would like to short this one. And I think your target is probably about 102.13. If that, and then a little bit lower, 101.90. If 101.90 breaks, you got your next level, $100.39. We've already been there before, and I think you got room back to 98.07. So decent lower high, still kind of came back an okay buy spot. A couple days consolidation, bulls showed that they were bullish, and now we have to see if this is just a retest and we go from here. But right now on the chart, you have a brand new lower high, and if we start making a lower low, that's going to be a little bit of a breakdown on hood. Still well above, and we're just kind of hanging out, but still above all the moving averages as well. So still strong. Maybe a little early sign of weakness on hood. Rock is in the house. What's up, Brock? I'm not. I can't be the morning bell already. Stop it. That is the morning bell. So, everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. If you have not done so already, you guys are incredible. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe. We'll see what Jerome Powell has to say. And we'll get some updates tomorrow. Catch you guys later.